Have you ever walked into a room and felt like everyone is wearing a mask? Like their words say one thing, but something deeper, something unspoken, tells a completely different story? Most people go through life accepting surfaces at face value. They hear, "I'm fine," and believe it. They see a smile and assume happiness. They listen to boasts and take them as confidence. But what if you could see through all of that in an instant? What if you could decode the hidden fears, the unspoken wounds, the real motivations driving every word and action? Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the sharpest observers of human nature in history, spent his life peeling back those layers. He didn't just philosophize from a distance, he dissected the human psyche with brutal honesty, exposing the instincts, contradictions, and illusions we all carry. Nietzsche understood that people rarely say what they mean directly. Instead, they reveal themselves through patterns, silences, overreactions, and even their kindnesses. These aren't random. They're signals. And once you learn to read them, the world becomes transparent. People become predictable. You stop being surprised by betrayal, manipulation, or sudden changes in behavior because you saw them coming long before they happened. This isn't about becoming cynical or judgmental. It's about clarity. It's about understanding human nature so deeply that you can navigate relationships, negotiations, friendships, and even your own inner world with unshakable insight. Nietzsche's observations weren't meant to make us bitter. They were meant to free us from illusion. Today, we're diving into 18 of his most powerful psychological truths, adapted and expanded from his writings, to show you exactly how to read anyone instantly. By the end, you'll never look at people the same way again. Let's begin with the foundation. Most human behavior isn't driven by conscious choice or noble intentions. It's driven by fear. Nietzsche saw this clearly. People don't act from strength nearly as often as they act from weakness they're trying to hide. The first truth is that exaggeration always betrays insecurity. When someone constantly reminds you of their achievements, their status, their intelligence, or their happiness, they're not confident. They're terrified of being seen as inadequate. "I don't care what anyone thinks" is often the loudest scream of someone who cares deeply. "I'm always fine" usually means the opposite. Real confidence doesn't announce itself. It simply exists, quiet and unshakable. Nietzsche wrote about how people construct facades to protect their fragile egos, and exaggeration is one of the clearest cracks in that facade. Closely related is the truth about superiority and contempt. If someone casually puts others down, mocks weaknesses, or positions themselves as above the crowd, they're almost always overcompensating for deep feelings of inferiority. Nietzsche called this ressentiment, the resentment of the weak toward the strong, disguised as moral judgment. The person who criticizes others harshly is often projecting their own self-hatred. They tear others down to feel taller. Watch for this in conversations. The one who sneers at stupid people or weak choices is revealing their own fear of being exposed as flawed. Next, pay attention to how people handle being told no. This is one of the fastest ways to read someone's core character. Nietzsche observed that true strength accepts boundaries gracefully, while weakness reacts with anger, manipulation, or withdrawal. Someone who explodes, guilts you, or ghosts after a simple rejection is showing you their entitlement and fragility. On the flip side, someone who respects a no without resentment demonstrates maturity and inner security. Reactions to denial reveal whether a person sees the world as something to control or something to navigate. Silence is another powerful revealer. Nietzsche knew that what people don't say often speaks louder than words. When someone avoids certain topics, changes the subject abruptly, or goes quiet in response to a probing question, they're guarding a wound. Silence around money might hide shame about finances. Silence around family could signal unresolved pain. Silence after vulnerability often means fear of rejection. People reveal their deepest insecurities not by confessing them, but by the subjects they dance around. Watch for contradictions too. Nietzsche was masterful at spotting how people say one thing and do another. The person who preaches honesty but lies in small ways is revealing hypocrisy born from convenience. The one who claims to value loyalty but flakes on commitments shows self-interest disguised as principle. Inconsistencies aren't accidents. They're the ego negotiating with reality. Where words and actions diverge, believe the actions. They always tell the truth. Kindness can be a mask as well. Not all of it, of course. Genuine compassion exists, but Nietzsche warned about kindness used as a weapon or a shield. Excessive people-pleasing often stems from fear of conflict or abandonment. The person who never says no, who bends over backward to be liked, is often driven by terror of being alone or disliked. Similarly, performative generosity, helping loudly, publicly, can be about buying approval rather than true care. Nietzsche saw this as slave morality, goodness as a tool for indirect power. On the flip side, cruelty often hides vulnerability. The bully, the sarcastic cutter, the one who lashes out, these aren't signs of strength. Nietzsche understood cruelty as the overflow of inner suffering. People hurt others because they hurt inside and lack the strength to face it. The sharp tongue is a defense against feeling small. True power doesn't need to diminish others. Listen to how people talk about their past. Nietzsche believed behavior is biography, the stories they repeat, the roles they emphasize, the villains they create, all reveal unresolved childhood dynamics. Someone who always positions themselves as the victim is replaying learned helplessness. The perpetual hero narrative might hide fear of vulnerability. Patterns from childhood persist into adulthood. The unheard child becomes the adult who dominates conversations or withdraws entirely. Jealousy is another instant read. Nietzsche saw it as the shadow of unacknowledged desire. When someone diminishes your success, it was just luck, or anyone could do that. They're revealing what they want but feel they can't have. Envy points directly to their aspirations and insecurities. Observe reactions to your success or happiness. This separates real allies from hidden rivals. Genuine friends celebrate without qualification. Those who respond with backhanded compliments, silence, or deflection are threatened by your light because it exposes their darkness. Nietzsche wrote extensively about how the weak resent the strong, even subconsciously. Power dynamics reveal everything quickly. Watch who seeks control in conversations, who interrupts, who redirects, who needs the last word. Nietzsche's will to power isn't just domination. It's the drive to assert oneself. But unhealthy versions show fear of losing influence. The constant interrupter fears being irrelevant. The one who always steers back to themselves dreads not being center stage. Flattery is a tool of the insecure. Excessive praise, especially early on, often aims to disarm or obligate. Nietzsche distrusted smooth talkers because truth rarely flatters. Genuine respect builds slowly. Rushed admiration usually hides agenda. How people treat those who can do nothing for them is the ultimate character test. Nietzsche despised hypocrisy in social hierarchies. The person kind to bosses but rude to serve his staff reveals status anxiety. True nobility treats all with dignity. Ghosting, avoidance, or sudden withdrawal after closeness signals fear of intimacy. Nietzsche understood that real connection requires vulnerability, which terrifies those with attachment wounds. They pull away not because they don't care, but because they care too much and fear hurt. Overworking or constant busyness often masks avoidance of inner emptiness. Nietzsche warned against fleeing from oneself into activity. The person who can't sit still, who fills every moment, is running from uncomfortable truths. Addictions and vices reveal unmet needs. Whether substances, shopping, drama, or validation seeking, they're attempts to fill voids. Nietzsche saw these as symptoms of weakness in facing life's hardness directly. Finally, the deepest truth. Everyone is fighting a battle you know nothing about initially, but with Nietzsche's lens, you can glimpse it. Arrogance hides shame. Anger hides hurt. Control hides fear. Detachment hides longing. Once you understand these universal patterns, Reading people becomes almost instinctive. Nietzsche didn't share these insights to make us superior or detached. He wanted us to see clearly so we could live more authentically ourselves. When you read others accurately, you also read yourself. You spot your own masks, your own fears, your own contradictions. And in that clarity lies freedom. The next time you're in conversation, observe quietly. Note the exaggerations, the silences, the reactions. Ask yourself, what fear might this protect? What wound might this guard? You'll be amazed how quickly people open up. Not because they confess, but because you've already understood. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Nietzsche's psychological depths. If these truths resonated, share your experiences below. What pattern have you noticed in others or yourself? Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insights into human nature, philosophy, and personal growth. Until next time, see clearly, live boldly.